This story is called Wipeout Gulch by Tui Allen. I'd crashed there so many times, I'll never forget the first time I made it through Wipeout Gulch without wiping out. The Gulch is a long and very steep mudslide going straight down into a deep mud puddle with a bank to climb on the other side. And then, a metre or so beyond that, a heap of branches which the other kids sometimes use as a jumping ramp. I call it Wipeout because whenever I'd come near it, I'd always stiffen up so badly that if I didn't fall off on the slide or go swimming in the bog at the bottom, I was bound to wipe out on the branches beyond. I'd never made it right across without a catastrophe, but I dreamed about my mountain bike the night before. In my dream, I was riding in the forest on my favourite course, skimming between the trees. I splashed through a puddle and climbed a bank so effortlessly. In my dream, I floated up and then wafted on down the shady single track covered with pine needles. I was jumping logs, avoiding obstacles, crossing streams, sliding easily up the hills and flying fearlessly down. My whole body was loose and relaxed, and my feet never leaving the pedals. And as I dreamed, I came at last to Wipeout Gulch. I hung out over the rear wheel on the descent, my whole body so relaxed it was nearly melting. The momentum from the drop carried me straight through the bog and up the bank, on over the logs. For one sweet moment I flew through the air before dropping my rear wheel to the ground a little before the front one touched down. It was perfect. Dream smooth landing. After that, I powered on down through the last bit of the forest track to where I hit the road at the start of my trip home. Here, my dream ended. It sure was a good one. I couldn't seem to quite get it out of my head the next day. It lingered in my mountain biker's dream. Maybe it stuck to something inside my helmet. The following afternoon, I was riding on the same course I had dreamed about the night before. Would you believe it? The hills really did seem easier. The roots and the stumps and the gnarly bits were not so difficult. And the further I rode, the more my confidence grew. I felt I could ride anything, go anywhere. Just me and my battered old fat tired buddy that seemed almost like part of me. Then came Wipeout Gulch. I was just gearing up for it in my head like I always did, gritting my teeth, locking my elbows, getting ready to stick a lead out when suddenly some kind of soothing, drawly voice in my head said, "Relax, relax." Next moment I felt like I was back in my dream, my elbows and my teeth unlocked. My toes stayed in the clips. I floated down the mudslide, across the bog and over the logs in perfect balance. And there I was, blasting between the trees, yelling and yahooing my head off. Okay, it wasn't quite as effortlessly like in my dream. Biking's hard work. I could feel my thighs burning from the effort of pedalling, but I'd finally done it. Strangely enough, since that day, I've never had a problem with Wipeout Gulch. And there are not too many places in the forest I can't go on my mountain bike now. It's a great sport. Sometimes I enjoy it so much out there, freewheeling over the pine needles and the fresh air, that it's like a dream.